A lot of you guys have been asking me to react to some of my own videos, so today I'm reacting to my most viral video here on YouTube with over 2.2 million views, and that video is Not All Black Lives Matter to Black Lives Matter. Now, maybe some of the OGs remember when this video first came out. I posted it well over 2 years ago. The channel was much smaller back then, but anyways, if you haven't seen it yet, we're gonna be unpacking a handful of scenes in it today. Before we get started, you guys, welcome back to the channel. This video is sponsored by my friends over at Ground News. I'll be talking about them more in a little bit. So this video happened right around the time of, or a little bit after, or maybe during the Summer of Love. So the Black Lives Matter riots resulting in billions of dollars of damages, dozens of people dying, etc., etc. We're all familiar with that. So I went out with a sign that said, "Not all Black Lives Matter to Black Lives Matter," showing that they don't focus on the important issues facing the black community. Let's go ahead and jump in.
What are your thoughts on the sign, dude?
I agree, because they have not done nothing for the black community at all. They're like, it's like reverse racism, and it's like they don't give 10 about us like that.
I absolutely love that guy. He was one of the first people that I ran into that day. Right when I showed up, he walked up, he's like, "Oh, I love the sign, dude, totally agree." So great way to start the video and to start the day. This guy wasn't as pleasant.
You're saying that they're hurting their own community?
Yes.
Quite literally burning it down, yes.
They're doing the greatest service for the black community than any organization in the history of this country.
By only focusing on police shootings and ignoring the other 99.7% of black homicides, I don't think I don't see how that's completely.
A lot of comments I saw. There's probably 1,000 comments on this video calling this guy white. Pretty sure he's not white. Okay, people have called him PC Principal. That's objectively funny, but pretty sure he's black. And he just very, very, very light skin. He was not happy about this sign one bit. Completely disagreed with everything I had to say.
Because the other black
by
homicides
burning down black neighborhoods,
the other black homicides are not done by government organizations whose job it is to serve and protect, from those wearing uniforms who swore an oath to protect and serve the very people that they're killing, and that's what you have overlooked.
So no, that's actually, I'm very well read up on police shootings. I very much so understand it. What I do understand, however, is there are way larger problems in the black community that if Black Lives Matter actually focused on for a quick second could save way more lives.
Larger problems are irrelevant.
Larger problems are irrelevant. That is a massive point that he just says right there, because it really shows. I mean, he's saying the quiet part out loud. Larger problems are irrelevant. Let's just hyper focus on this. Unarmed police shootings, unarmed black Americans, getting shot by police. Let's hyper focus on this because it gets the most clicks, it gets the most donations, it gets the most attention, all of that. When there's massive issues facing the black community in the United States today, and when it comes to unarmed police shootings, most people that believe this propaganda think it's thousands of unarmed black Americans per year that are shot by police. And the number is usually around 10 to 15, and half of them, I've looked through them, half of them are usually attacking police officers. Now, this isn't just black Americans. That would go for unarmed police shootings when it comes to white Americans as well, but there's actually more white Americans that get shot by police when they're unarmed. But a lot of these people, they'll be wrestling around with the police, they'll be assaulting them, all of that.
Larger problems are irrelevant.
They don't care nothing about black lives. They don't care nothing about the black man being in the house, which I'm not racist at all. You're my brother, man. I love you just as much as I would love
you as well, man. You as well.
This guy's so great. It was really nice having, I think they were both there right around the same time. And so it was really nice having this contrast between these two individuals. Yeah, he just continues to keep spitting truth, so we'll let him continue.
When Nipsey Hussle died, they didn't march. When these kids that are killed in the hands of other black people,
Sequoia Turner on the left right there, and Zamar Jones down on the bottom.
I hate to say it like this, but these people, man. They don't care nothing about us.
You mentioned
He's totally spot on. All right, everyone, let's take a few moments to talk about today's sponsor. We all know at minimum when you do a news search on Google, the first 3 pages are going to populate with the mainstream narrative, basically just regurgitated talking points over and over again. I was so tired of going to page 7 to find a different perspective or missing relevant information, so I've been using Ground News, and they make it incredibly easy to weed through the propaganda. So for a quick example, I came across this story of Samuel L. Jackson making an obnoxious comment about Donald Trump. You can see where the sources are coming from, what percentage of them are left versus right. In this particular case, it's being covered mainly by right-leaning media, making it a blind spot for people that typically consume left-leaning media. I personally love that we can compare headlines and also see who owns particular outlets, who's involved in shaping public opinion. Also, if you go to the homepage on the app or website, the breaking news stories of the day are the same for everyone, helping avoid echo chambers created by clickbait headlines and manipulative algorithms. And better yet, you can check out the blind spot feed that shows stories that are overly covered or not being talked about at all across the political spectrum. And if you have a particular article that you want a little bit more context into, you can use their Shazam for News feature and search it on their website or app and actually compare sources that are local and international. I find this tool incredibly effective when it comes to staying fully informed and seeing every side of each story. If you're like me and want to quickly drill down into a story and find out what's really going on, then go to ground.news/Klug, sign up or subscribe before July 1st through my link and get unlimited access for as little as $5 a month. I promise you guys, you will thank me later. Let's get back to the video. And on that sign, I had Sequoia Turner and Zamar Jones on that sign, 2 black kids that I believe were murdered maybe the week before filming this video, just to draw attention to the chaos that's taking place in these communities. Like, aside from these BLM riots burning down these communities, to draw attention to the violence that's taking place in the communities. Because they'd rather focus on stuff that's not going to impact the black community at all, even if they solved it 100%, which is impossible as long as you have humans that are police officers, because you're going to have mistakes, you're going to have some bad cops, and you're going to have those situations that are a total gray area where they're being assaulted and the cop ends up firing a shot because they believe that their life is, in jeopardy. But this guy's calling it out right there. They don't care about the black community. They just care about making money. They care about those donations. What's going to get those donations in the most?
If you were to get rid of all police shootings killing unarmed black Americans,
That's an if.
You would,
and that's
you would,
superficial.
let me
it's
finish. I let you finish. Please let me finish. Okay.
That's the point.
You would reduce the black homicide rate by less than 1/3 of 1%. Although it's an issue, it's the size of an ant compared to black-on-black murder in the inner-city communities.
But every murder counts. Why would you try to belittle an organization that tries to put a stop to it by police, whose their job to stop murder and not promote it?
I have a problem with it being their only focus.
Literally their only focus. I mean, if you just took a step back from the propaganda and the goal, let's just table BLM being a total Marxist organization, right? If you just take a step back from the media narrative, from the propaganda that you're consuming, and you actually look at what they're doing, you look at the issues facing the black community, it's pretty easy to see that it was complete BS at this time. And at this time, none of the information was released about BLM just being a total corrupt organization. So this is before that, but I think for many of us, it was just common sense.
You have a problem because you're not black and don't understand racism in this country. No one black would take your stance. Only a white person would take your stance.
He agrees with me right over there, and he's black.
That's him, and he's an individual. That doesn't count for the whole.
You literally just said no one.
No one black would take your stance. Well, I don't know. This guy right over here literally agrees with me. What are you talking about? Well, that's him. He's an individual. An amazing scene right there. In fact, I'm gonna clip that. I think that needs to be a short. That's a good one. Very good one. Next group.
They don't care about black lives. If they did, they'd be in the inner cities. They'd be supporting with their money and their time, painting houses, doing yard work, tutoring the underprivileged. They'd be doing those things.
Absolutely. A lot of people ask that question. I mean, why aren't they using these tens of millions of dollars of donations? Why aren't they using those tens of millions of dollars donations to be in the communities actually helping instead of just rioting? I mean, during this time, it was riots. It seemed like every few days there was a riot in some city. So a lot of people are asking that question. Why aren't you guys actually doing something to benefit the community? Well, They're saving up to buy some large mansions.
Because people can't grasp the idea that Black Lives Matter is just for police brutality, so it needs to be specified down for them to understand that, because they don't have the brain capacity to understand that.
I understand you're attempting to indirectly insult me, but when it comes to, you're mentioning that it's about police brutality. Great. What does redistribution of wealth have to do with police brutality? Can you explain that to me?
Redistribution of health? I mean, wealth?
Of wealth. Can you explain that to me? Police brutality. Can you explain to me what free college has to do with police brutality?
Well, free college could help the Black community and other POCs. Sorry.
Free college could help a lot of people, but we can't afford it.
I mean, yeah, you're going to give somebody free college education. Free, quote unquote. One mistake that I made right there, actually, was I should have just let her hang on the first one. And the reason why I was bringing up these things is because these are things that they list when they speak at events. The leaders, Patrisse Cullors, that they list on their website. It's this whole Marxist agenda, and that's not just me throwing that out there. There's that famous quote from Patrisse Cullors, the co-founder of Black Lives Matter, saying that they're trained Marxists. It's a Marxist organization. That was one of the primary goals of the organization. So this girl's saying, okay, well, it's police brutality is the primary question, is the primary concern. Fine. What does redistribution of wealth have to do with that? And I should have just let her hang on that first one because she was obviously struggling. You can see me get a little bit frustrated with this interview right here, which a very common question, probably the most common question, is how do I not snap when I interview? How do I not shout at them, scream at them, lose my cool? I don't think I was always so good at it. I would get irritated, and I definitely get a little bit irritated in this one right here. So practice makes perfect.
They leverage the police murders because they have a far left political agenda.
You're trying to cloud that issue with other situations. And that is
that are far greater issues.
That's a crime. No, to you because you're white. No. They're not greater issues to blacks.
Yes, they are.
You can't say they are because you're not black.
Literally by every measurement imaginable, it's a bigger the issues that I was discussing here, which would be either black on black crime in inner city communities or what. Just pick any other issue in these communities. Okay, pick any other issues in these communities. It is a bigger deal than unarmed police shootings in the black community. A much bigger deal. Not even close. It's so funny. It's like, it would be, because the organization's called Black Lives Matter, it would be like assuming all Black Lives Matter, it would be like a All Cancer Matters organization. And they use all of their time to fixate on the rarest cancer out there that kills 10 people a year. It's basically the same thing. So yes, it is reasonable to criticize that. It is absolutely okay, even at this time. It was much more controversial to criticize that at this time than it is now. But at this time, it is an okay question to be saying, or an okay accusation to be saying, they don't care about the community. Because they're fixating on something that doesn't even really impact the community. And here I go asking this guy how many deaths there are from police every year. He doesn't really care, but people refuse to answer this question.
How many unarmed black Americans were killed by police last year? Go.
Enough for Black Lives Matter. I don't
many?
have the answer to that question, and nor do I need one to have an opinion.
There were 14, half of which were assaulting police officers. Now, I'm not excusing all of these, but what I am saying, let me finish. No, that is not a lie.
That's a lie according to the news broadcast.
Washington Post, you can go look at the statistics right now.
That's a lie according to news broadcast.
He's basically saying I was fake news right there. That is a lie according to the news broadcast. First of all, he just said he didn't know. And then when I tell him the facts from Washington Post, that was the source from at that time, he was saying that's a lie. Okay, so what's your basis for saying it's a lie? But this is the same response every single time. People will guess there's tens of thousands of unarmed black Americans that are killed by police every single year. And the reason why they think that, the reason why that's their answer, is because it was the only thing that Black Lives Matter was focused on. It was the only thing that the mainstream media was focused on because it's getting clicks, it's dividing, it's politically advantageous, and it's raising tens of millions of dollars.
There were more than 14 for one,
That's
and
incorrect.
two, they weren't all assaults on police officer, and three, if they were assaults
No, I didn't say all, I said half.
Half of them were not assaults on police officer. Your information
that's correct.
is
I've gone
not
through
only
them.
incorrect, but you're misusing the information.
He did just say how he didn't know. He's quite the professional now.
And even if you
No,
were
I'm not.
that doesn't make Black Lives Matter irrelevant.
I'm
You
not.
are
I
trying to
never
put them
said.
down
I
and
never
you are
said
trying
that
to
Black
cloud
Lives
the
Matter
issue.
is irrelevant. I never
Okay?
said that once.
All the murders count.
You're putting
And
words in my mouth to literally
I'm
make
not
your
putting
argument
words in your
sound better.
mouth.
There's David Dorn, a black ex-police chief that was killed by protesters. There's Patrick Underwood, a federal officer that was killed in a riot. Black American. These are patriots. These are heroes. And Black Lives Matter's silence on these matters is deafening. Crickets are louder than the Black Lives Matter movement on all this going on. Do you understand why I'm out here talking about this?
Yeah, I can see that.
Why are you trying to cloud the issue?
Back
Why
to
are you
this
trying
guy.
to put words in my mouth?
I didn't. I made a statement and it's correct.
These people do not give a about us. Excuse my language. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hey, it's lit right now. This is lit.
He's getting all pumped because I love this scene right here, just because the whole situation was super heated. I believe he came back, and at this time, and I wish we showed this angle, but at this time, there's about 25 people crowding around watching the debates happen, watching the conversations. And so he's like, this is lit right now. Everyone's having a good time.
These people don't care, and I'm tired of seeing this in the news. These do not care about us. They turn black-owned businesses, but they for black. How you gonna yell out Black Lives Matter? You turn up black-owned businesses. Well, that doesn't make any sense to me. You know what I'm saying? So, these people, Black Lives Matter. I don't need a T-shirt to tell you that my life matter.
I mean, mic drop. Absolute mic drop. I don't need a T-shirt to tell you that my life matters. And it's not that. I mean, it's so funny because I think at this time, a lot of people really trusted the Black Lives Matter organization. If I did this video now, the responses there would be barely anybody defending the Black Lives Matter organization. But at this time, a lot of people couldn't see through the propaganda. A lot of people couldn't see through the lies. And really, it was pretty common sense what they were doing. They were leveraging a tiny issue within the black community that just so happens to have a lot of theatrics around it to raise as much money as possible. People could see the BS. And this guy sure as hell could.
This is actually like our first outing, so I'm not trying to spend too much time on it, honestly.
Okay.
Was this your first date?
No, we're coworkers.
Yeah, right. Stop filming.
I got a funny story to tell about this guy in a second, but definitely looked like he thought it could have been a date. Maybe.
He killed it. Like I said, it goes really, really deep. All I'm going to say is it has to stop, man. Everybody has to be treated equally, period.
Do you agree with Black Lives Matter or no?
Yes, I do.
You agree?
Yes, I do.
I disagree with their approach. I don't think them advocating for rejecting the nuclear family unit is helpful to the black community. You know?
I want to say something, but I don't.
Say it.
Get in there.
I just feel like Black lives don't matter because they don't matter with themselves because they're killing one another. And also, aside of the media, it's like being perpetrated as the black community is doing this and this and this, and like the Democrats are helping the black community, but really they're not helping the black community.
Spitting facts once again. She is excellent. She is absolutely excellent in this video, but he's saying, yeah, I totally agree with Black Lives Matter. And she just pulls the rug from under him, saying they're not helping the black community. They're just these are race baiters that want to divide the country, that want you afraid, and want you to go out and vote Democrat. Want you to go out and adopt their Marxist values. That's largely what the movement was about. Go to any Black Lives Matter rally during this time. I've been to more Black Lives Matter rallies than probably most activists. They don't hide that from you. They make their agenda very, very, very clear. It is a radically anti-capitalist organization and movement. Now, there's, of course, good people caught up in the mix. I get that. And I would see those people and I would talk to those people. He's probably one of those people. He's probably one of those good people that's just misled. But this lady she sees through the BS. So quick story on these two. I ended up posting this short recently. She ended up commenting on the short, and I was saying how they were on a date. I said that because the guy said the first outing. I remember him saying it was their first outing. And I don't know. You guys can be the judge of this one. Let me know down in the comment section below. Did he kind of think that it was maybe a date? Was he maybe at the very least hopeful that it was a date just by that reaction? It's tough to fake that reaction that we just saw. about a minute ago. Anyways, she clarifies. She actually reaches out and clarifies this was not a first date. He was just a coworker. And then I went back and rewatched this clip right here, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, for sure, she probably thought that it was just an outing. Maybe she was slightly feeling it out too. He was definitely hopeful. I don't think it worked out after this one. I just don't. Watch this last bit.
So it's the media that puts out what they want to be put out. It's not necessarily Black Lives Matter or white lives that matter. No, all lives what matter. It's all lives that matter. And when people say that, they get offended, but it's true, because at the end of the day, our lives do matter. It doesn't matter if you die that you're black, you're white, you're whatever. That doesn't matter. It's just us as humans is what matters. And I think that the black community, when you separate yourself from that whole Black Lives Matter, now you're no longer black, or you're no longer a part of the crew, and that's not true. You're just saying, yes, you do matter, but you just matter as a person and not as a color.
Mic drop. And that's a great one to end it on. Whether it be a date or not, going out with a guy that's saying, oh yeah, totally support Black Lives Matter, he's buying into the narrative, at least to some extent. She absolutely was not, and had no problem calling that out. Fantastic work. I want to end on this note. We have right here a tweet from Citizen Free Press. Eric Adams calls out BLM after New York City recorded one of the most deadliest days in our city on Juneteenth. If Black Lives Matter, then Black Lives Matter when innocent people are shot on our streets. Check out this video right here.
Our celebration of emancipation and the end of slavery. That was one of the most deadliest days in our city. 10 shootings, I think 6 homicides, one 16-year-old boy shot in the head, close range. We have to be honest about this. And you know what's interesting? All those anti-police folks didn't raise their voice at all. If Black Lives matter when innocent people are shot on our streets.
6 people murdered in one day. Nothing but silence from these organizations. Because guess what? Patrisse Cullors, the co-founder of Black Lives Matter organization, it was about getting people divided, and it was about raising money so her family, her friends could be incredibly wealthy. They bought multi-million-dollar homes. One of the homes was $6 million that they purchased, saying it was for content creation. Another, they allocated funds for another home to be purchased up in Canada. That was another $6 million. But here Eric Adams is, right? Calling them out. They didn't care about any of the major issues facing these communities. Just, that tiny number per year. And that was enough to get everyone in the streets rioting. Nobody's going to riot for those kids shot in New York City. Nobody's protesting for them. If you guys made it this far in the video, I'm really curious to see what you thought about it. I don't know how this video is going to perform. Hopefully it does well, but people kept asking me to react to some of my own content, so here you go. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe for more videos, and also hit that bell notification button if you haven't already, so you're notified next time I post, and I will catch you guys all in the next video.